the Cherokees broadcast, and now here is Terry and Jared.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to the 2024 edition of Meet the Cherokees, and we are in the friendly and air-conditioned confines of the McMinn County Performance Center. Jared, this is a pretty good spot to be in.
Air-conditioned is the key word.
Air-conditioned is the key word. So you will see likely behind us if you're watching the live stream, and you can probably hear some things if you're just listening to the radio, but we have Picture Day going on. So that's what's happening as our backdrop here. We'll have football players, cheerleaders, dance team, coaches, everybody will be here. I want to tell you up front that we're brought to you and sponsored today by Old National Bank, and so we're glad to have Old National on board to sponsor our Meet the Cherokees today, and also we'll be doing 3 game day pre-game broadcasts throughout the year, and Old National Bank has agreed to sponsor those as well. So we appreciate their sponsorship, and we hope that when you see representatives from Old National Bank, be sure and thank them for getting involved in our community. We really appreciate that. Live stream being brought to you courtesy of the work of Josh Bogus and Bogus Videography. Josh is here on site. We are live, of course, here at McMinn County High School, and we appreciate all the work that Bogus Videography does for us as well. So, guys, first let me welcome our team. Our broadcast crew is back again this year. Just as it was last year, Jared Wright will be bringing color commentary this year. Looking forward to a good season, I guess.
I'm looking forward to it again. It's hard to believe football season's here. Summer's over, kids back in school today, so it's good to see these guys dressed out, ready to go, get their pictures done, and be hitting the field before long. And
Terry Stansel will return once again. Terry doing our statistician work and also being part of the broadcast. You had to just step right in on several occasions when Jared or I couldn't make it to a game, and we appreciate your work as well. Terry, it's going to be an exciting season. You look forward to it. Yeah, you mentioned already a great home schedule and a tough schedule.
Yes.
Well, if we're going to get started, I say go big or go home, so we just bring out the head coach right off the bat.
Just ruin it right from the beginning, right?
So we're joined by head coach Bo Cagle. Coach Cagle, you're beginning your 18th season here at McMinn County High School. 110 wins under your belt in that time period. I was just looking, 18 seasons. The only person that's got you there is Coach Mullinax. He spent 19 seasons. You're just about to catch him.
Yeah, I don't know if I can catch him or not, though. It's looking further away.
we're counting on you catching him for sure. Well, I want to start out before we get in.
I thought he was really old too when I was playing for him.
After 19 seasons.
Yeah, and I don't know if I guess they look at me the same way, but I thought he was really old, but I guess he wasn't.
You got the same hairstyle down, so that works for you.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, Coach Mullinax, a legendary coach here, and you're following in those footsteps, Coach Cagle, and we're glad to have you. I hope you stay around several more years for sure. But I want to start out, let's just talk about, before we get into the season and your team, let's talk about the coaching staff that you've put together this year.
Yeah, we got some changes. Brought Jake Roberts back to run our offense. He's been on a hiatus for a couple of years. The itch gets to him, and he comes back. Lost Brad Bennett, our defensive coordinator. With Jake coming in, obviously that helps us shore that one side up. I moved over to the defense now, so I've taken myself out of offense, helping. And we are a defensive by committee, not necessarily a head coordinator, but I am the head coach, so things kind of go through me. But I'm not micromanaging that, and I'm running the secondary.
But if there's a time where there is a decision to be made, it would probably come to you anyway.
Yeah,
or could.
Usually it would. Most of the times the decisions I'm making is going forward on fourth down, or if we need to go goal line defense or things like that.
Yeah.
It really is a collaboration of the whole defensive staff. With Coach Howard, Jason Howard coaching our linebackers. We brought in Caleb Smith. He's native of Dalton, Georgia, but he was at Austin East to coach our defensive line. He's a big help for us. so far. Tony Murdoch, we moved him down there to help him out, kind of bridge the gap of new coaches and coming in with us. So Tony's moved down from the secondary down to the defensive line. That's our defensive staff. Helping Jake on the offense. We had Coach Rogers coaching defensive line. He's moved over to the offensive line with Taylor Schultz. They're doing it together. Since I've been here, I've always thought you needed 2 offensive line coaches to see the sides to really help that up. So he moved over there. They're doing that together. And Caden Hester has come back, former player here. He's come back to help us, and we've got him working with the receivers right now. And Jake obviously coordinate the offense with the running backs and the quarterbacks.
Now, let's talk about just quickly your middle school coaches. Coach Schultz is the head coach of the middle school team, and he's got some help down there.
He's got a large staff.
He's got a staff.
He's got a staff. Matt Rabine, wrestling coach here at the high school, has agreed to come out and help. I thought that was good for him and us.
Yep.
He wants to recruit some wrestling guys, and I think that if we have a great relationship with football, he should be able to help him there. Will Wright, former player.
Yep.
For us, he's been doing it. I think this is like 5 years that he's been helping our middle school. And all of these guys are down there on Friday nights.
Yeah.
So if they see something, they can always help us. We'll have them in the box as well, split up. Roger Goins has been there. I think this is his 2nd or 3rd year. Tiny Powers is coming back. His son on the high school team, and he's helping the middle school. And Aaron Westfield, and the guys have probably seen, he works in the city system, coached track for them last year, coached in the youth at least last year, maybe a couple of years, and he's come on to help our middle school. Is going to be a big help for us as well.
I've noticed him. He brings a lot of excitement out there onto the field, a lot of motivation.
Energy on the field, and he's knowledgeable. I mean, he played defensive back at Carson Newman. He has knowledge there, and he knows what we're doing defensively. So he's been a big help to me in the summer when he could be here to where we could split some sides up.
We're sitting in the Performance Center, which is now, I don't know, Josh, if you want to pan or anything, you can if you'd like, but the weight system, machines are in place now, beginning to do some work in here. Right now it's just picture day, but what kind of advantages, I know it's early on, but what are you seeing there as far as help to the program?
Well, a couple of things. Team-wise, when we start in the summer, we obviously have to split up guys that know how to lift weights, that have been doing it for a while, and the guys that have no idea what they're doing. So we got 2 groups in the month of June, and one group's really getting after it and working out, and the other group's learning how to do all the lifts. So when we came back in July from the dead period, we did the same thing for a week, and I got that other group ready, and they were, they're close to being ready just to lift weights.
Yep.
So the second week after dead period, we brought the whole team in here at the same time and tried it out, and it's amazing. We got every player in here at the same time working out, and it was less crowded than when we had 32 in that old weight room.
Wow.
And so it's already paying off. It actually all summer long has given us more time to practice.
Yeah.
When it takes you 3 hours to get through the weight room, you really don't feel like going out there on the field and getting a lot done. But we were getting done in an hour with our weights and agilities in an hour. So it gives us more time on the field. So it's helped us all the way around.
If nothing else, it's just expeditious. You just get in and out.
It's it's just so great. And then, as far as strength goes, well, obviously we're still working through how to do some of the things. But where we've seen it really have dividends is bench press. If you wouldn't, that's surprising, but in the old weight room there was not room to do pressing exercises as much as we needed to. There just wasn't room. So you try to bring out the most important things, which was leg stuff. Squats, front squats, cleans, the things that we would do with the lower body. So everybody kind of got neglected a little bit. We had higher bench press totals than I can ever remember here, just in less than a year of having this weight room. So we're expecting everything to just improve a lot from that.
Let's take a look at the season. I don't want to get held down on like every game or anything like that, but we might take 2-3 at a time. it's the same schedule as a year ago. Everything pretty much flip-flops with regards to home and away games. But early on, you open at Bradley. I think they moved that game back to Thursday the 22nd. So you open at Bradley, then you got Cleveland coming here. Two, I would say, well, certainly big rivals. Bradley is the rival, I would say, for McMinn County.
Yeah.
But two games that you like to keep on your schedule. They're non-region now, but still important games for this community.
And they're 6A schools. I've said it plenty of times. I like playing in the large region. I mean, or large classification. I just like those games. Every Friday night, it was a battle to win, and you had to be prepared, and there wasn't any kind of there wasn't emotional letdowns because you didn't have time to have them. And you start the season, well, you just start on back. If you think about it, you don't even think about games. We got Boyd Buchanan, Anderson County, Red Bank, Bradley, Cleveland. Now, I don't know of a harder stretch than that we could start the season.
Preseason walking into the season.
Walking into the season. So it's we got big time matchups to start the year out, starting yesterday. But I was talking. We've already, with Bradley being the first game, you get to talk about Bradley a month before you play Bradley. Usually you start the Friday after the last game. So we were actually talking about them, and I realized my son's on the team. I think y'all are going to have him a little later on here.
Yes.
And he's a junior this year and has never beaten Bradley, and that really hurt my heart. I mean, it did. And it's like you can't go through high school without beating Bradley.
That's a good point.
So it is important to us. I know that it's a game of importance just to play a little better. They've been loaded the last couple of years. But it's a kickoff of the season. I thought last year, with the team that they had and the way we played against them, it was a valiant effort. We need to do a little better this year, though.
You got Tyner coming up next, and that game has been moved to a neutral side. It was showing as a home game on a lot of schedules that have probably went out. It's going to be played at Ooltewah High School, so you'll make two trips to Ooltewah.
3 with the JV game. We got all kinds of trips to Ooltewah.
But in between, of course, after Tyner, then you get East Hamilton back here, and you start region play. That's always. I mean, we took care of them pretty good, frankly, down there last year. But it's always typically a very good game.
Thinking back, we were talking about that game and it being a big, because we don't exactly know. They got a new coach in last year, and the second year ends usually a little bit better. And reminiscing about a year ago, thinking about that game, I did not realize it was so early in the year and such a pivotal game of the year that early. So it's a big time game. You got to be prepared and ready to go for the first region game.
In between the two region games, East Hamilton, Ooltewah, Oak Ridge sticks their head in there, and you got to travel up to Oak Ridge this year, which frankly is a great place to play.
It is. It's a great place to play, and we've had some success at Oak Ridge somehow. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
I think Jared, had you broadcast from Oak Ridge? You've been looking forward to that.
This will be the first trip up to Oak Ridge, so
I
looking forward
kind
to
of
it.
hope that they've upgraded a little bit.
The press box.
And the locker room. The locker room's about a 12 by 12. They had to upgrade, because when I was in high school, you walked in there, and it was the same one that I've been in since I've been here. When I was in high school, it had one toilet sitting in the middle of the floor. That's out and open. They had a box around it the last time I was there. So
they did upgrade.
Yeah, they upgraded it. So maybe they'll have 2 this year.
If we can just cut off that dang train whistle, we'll be okay.
Oh yeah, dang train whistle. We're gonna go cut the cord on that before we get started.
After Oak Ridge, then Ooltewah, you get 3 straight home games. 2 are region games. Ray County and Howard will make their way here to Cherokee Stadium. And then I guess you got to circle Powell just a little bit. With the excitement and drama that went on there a year ago, they'll come here to Athens this year.
It's funny, man. I got to looking. I don't go back and I don't look at things that happened in the past, because they really don't. They don't affect what we're doing now. But I did. I just kind of looked at our schedule, and that Powell game, and then the Walker Valley, and then the Clinton game. And I feel like that we got so emotionally invested in that Powell game, it really hurt us for the last 2 games. And I want to make sure, I was already thinking about it, make sure that we don't do that again. We can't, because that game really means absolutely nothing at all in the sense of what we're trying to do, and it may have ruined us last year. And I don't want that to happen again.
It was a game that both teams came into it ranked top 10. It had quite a bit of hype to it. And you're right, though, but then you turn around, you played for what was a region title. After coming out of the game, you lost a player there for the next game.
Right.
I get what you're saying, and it really didn't mean anything to your efforts to move on in region player.
And the way it ended, and all the stuff that went on in that game is just, it didn't. I really feel that it affected us the rest of the year, and we just got to guard against some things like that.
Well, real quickly, Coach, a couple of things. I took in the scrimmage last night. You guys went down and scrimmaged Boyd Buchanan. So it was warm out there, first of all. Both teams playing in that, of course. But
what about no punting?
Yeah,
we didn't punt. Because we didn't do it at the beginning. I said, well somebody will stop us, and we'll punt and get punt. I mean, at some point, we're going to have to punt in the game, and we didn't. So we didn't practice punting or punt return at all in the scrimmage.
And you got a new punter,
and I didn't even realize it until I'm watching the film, thinking, man, we didn't even get to practice.
While we're talking about that, though, of course, Spencer Sullins has moved on. So talk to us about what you're seeing in the kicking game from place kicker to punter. Who we got stepping up?
Drew Trapp, he's a freshman, wanted to come in and try kicking for us, number 88 down there on the roll. He's a good-looking kid, strong kid. I mean, he looks like he can play football.
Is it punting or?
He's kicking. He plays kicking.
Okay.
And it's going to be a work in progress, and we know that, but he's got a strong leg. Terry, with kicking, it's consistency. It's the consistency of doing the same thing over and over and over again. And when he hits it, it's really good. And when he doesn't, it's not really good. And that's just the way it is right now. But once he gets consistent, I think we'll have a consistent extra point within 35-yard field goal. I think he'll be good at. He's kicking it around the 10-yard line on kickoffs already. He will be able to place it, but it's just consistency. He's not doing it over and over and over again the same. But, he's a freshman. I don't have a freshman playing any position that's doing anything consistent right now. So
punting?
Punting, we got Alex Powers. Yep. He's left-footed. It's weird. It's weird. He's a freshman as well. Man, we'll let the kicking game in the hands of freshmen.
Yeah.
He's left-footed, little guy, but he plays a position too. He's a corner on offense. He's a receiver, a corner on defense, a receiver on offense.
Athletic,
good athlete. So I mean, our guys are having a little bit of hard time catching the ball because it turns a different direction than they're used to.
Yep.
So it's a little difficult, but he's back there. If Ace or
spins a little different.
Gage doesn't give him a good snap, he can go get it. So those are things that you need sometimes, especially when my son's snapping. I don't know, sometimes he can snap that thing 30 or 40 yards. So.
The last freshman to kick for you turned out to be pretty good, so hoping that trend continues.
That's right.
So.
Let's talk about Jacob Sharp just a little bit. Jacob, last year, 113 carries, 839 yards. He was the leading rusher. He was the leading receiver as well.
Pretty good on defense.
11 touchdowns, I think. But you're looking to bring out his athleticism, I think. Yeah. Am I right? You're moving him around a little bit.
He's moving around. Yeah, he'll be in the backfield out there at the slot receiver. We got to figure out different ways to get the ball in his hands. He's one of the few playmakers that we have that can really that can change a game. So on both sides of the ball, he will help us. Returning kicks and punts as well.
What about that running back position with Jacob moving out? He's got a staple back there, I guess.
You kind of hope Tarzan can get back.
Yeah.
And he's shown signs of doing things that he's done and even been better. He's not fully released yet. So we're looking forward to that, get him fully released. We got Peanut still there, Jackson Dyer still at the running back, had a good game.
Another
last
playmaker.
night.
I mean, last night he had some nice
He's
runs.
A bull.
Yeah.
He's a bull back there. Watson back there as well.
Lincoln Watson.
Yeah, Lincoln Watson back there. Just a hard-nosed kid, going to be a downhill runner.
Yeah. Cameron
Cayman Brown's back there. Yeah, Cayman's back there too. Getting him around, and a lot of guys play both ways. Cayman didn't get a whole lot of touches last night, but he's going to have to play some in the backfield. And then distributing the ball with the quarterback, you know.
This is another position by committee, I think, it sounds like a little bit.
Well, you know, you want somebody like Jalen Hunt every year, and you just can't get that. Yeah. So, you know, you got to have guys just coming in and helping. We don't have the one that's just going to stand out and be head and shoulders above anyone else. They're all going to have different intricacies that make them good football players that can help our team.
You got Brady Mullins returning at quarterback, but he's mentoring another young man that's coming along as well.
Yeah.
Talk about Luke Lawson.
Yeah, Luke had a good. He had some good series last night, and I think a lot of it was, you know, he was playing against different competition for a lot of times. But Luke, the things that he has, that he brings, he's a competitor and he's a gamer. He is savvy out there, moxie, those things that you want in a quarterback. Still just a little behind. Yeah. You know, he's catching there, and Brady, man,
just a sophomore.
Yeah, a sophomore, and you know, they have a great relationship and do things well together. Good. They cheer each other on, and they both of them want what's best for our team.
You talk about defense just a little bit, maybe some key players on that side of the ball.
And you know, if you talk about our defense, you know, you talk about what we lost from last year. Landon Fagan's moving out, but I'm really excited about our defensive line. Those guys, Javante Parker and Christian Edwards down there, and Henry Cook, Jackson Montgomery, Makai McDermott. I mean, I'm sitting here just saying there's names and names. Yep. So we got Caden Melton backed him off the line. He was a starting weak side end for us last year. Moved him back to Sam linebacker. Now we've got Cam Miller, Caden Melton with all kinds of experience playing varsity football. Jonah Martin in there at the mic. It makes our front seven. I'm pretty excited about that front seven. I was already watching the film today from last night. I watched about half of it, and we're doing little things wrong that cause big things to happen. Yeah. So I think that stuff will get worked out pretty quickly. So our defense, the front seven, I think they can be pretty good. Now you don't replace a Landon Fagans. You just can't replace him. But you can with a bunch of different people playing a little bit better than what they have played. Right. So I'm excited about that front seven. And our secondary is coming on. We're not exactly where we need to be right now. And you could see it last night. You know that sometimes people would be running open, and they're little things. But a lot of those guys are playing both ways. Drew Bottoms and Jacob Sharp and Cayman Brown, all playing some sort of time on offense, so you got to watch those. You got Gage Hester and Marshall Goodner at safety. You got Drake Frazier buying time at safety. You got Caden Brewster. I mean, we moved him to corner, I think, Tuesday. Thursday. I mean, I watched him play, and I was like, this guy, he's going to help us at corner. And to have a 6-foot corner out there as a freshman is pretty good, and he's physical. So we're hoping that he'll keep progressing like he has.
Speaking of some hype, and another Frazier, Maddox Frazier, getting some time out there.
I'm telling you now, he's probably not as fleet of foot as we need him to be right now, and he'll get better. But he's smart enough that he makes up for a lot of it. Right. On both sides. You saw him on both sides. He played receiver. He's playing safety for me. He does things right. So, yeah, I mean, we got all kinds of Fraziers, don't we, out there?
We do.
I know you've talked about it in the past, managing offense and defensive players when they go 2A, but how tough is that for you?
It's tough. I mean, it really is. And I have a hard time in my mind of thinking how things work out. So I have a list of my defensive players, and I put them on that list, and I kind of watch them on offense to see who goes in next, who do I need for this one. Because in my mind, I don't know, it just doesn't work that well. And if I happen to leave that list, we're in trouble. Because I wouldn't know who would go in where. But it's hard. You have to be on the same page with well, right now would be Caden Hester as the receiver coach. All right, who needs to go in here? Who needs to come out? Because you guys, I mean, I think you know, but you may not. If I'm going to put something into an importance, and it don't matter where I'm coaching, defense is the importance. If we're going to rest, we need to rest on offense. If I need something big time done, it's because we've got to stop them on defense. And so we've got to build, and we've got guys to do that, though. We've got people we can put in that are playmakers on offense, but defensively, it's just something totally different.
Coach, thank you for your time. It's 20 days till opening day. It'll go by fast.
I'm telling you.
All right. Well, thank you. We're going to bring in offensive coordinator Jake Roberts, who's going to come join us now. He gets a cheer from some of his players behind him. We'll let him get set up here. Again, we're bringing you the 2024 Meet the Cherokees. It's being brought to you today, sponsored by Old National Bank. And, of course, Bogus Videography is here bringing it on the live stream as well. So be sure you go to the Facebook page of Bogus Videography if you have access to your phone or a computer, and be sure and just join us via live stream as well. So offensive coordinator Jake Roberts joined. Boy, that sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
It does.
He could not stay away long enough.
I know. I mean, the last couple of years, I've had a little hiatus, but I don't know how much of it was. I'd creep down into the box when I could.
I did see you down there a few times. Let's talk about, before we get totally into football here, talk about your other responsibilities here at the school. Are you still the athletic director? You're sharing that with...
I am. It's kind of I wear a lot of hats. So I'm the AD.
Yep.
I'm in charge of attendance and an admin assistant, which is kind of like an assistant principal.
Okay.
And then coaching football. So
it's a busy schedule.
It is.
So what do you feel like drove you back to making the commitment to, hey, I'm not only coming on board, the offensive coordinator, it's a pretty big job.
It is. I love the game.
Yeah.
And here's the thing is I have been in the AD and admin assistant role, so essentially I've become the bad guy in the school, you know, so being around the kids, that kind of, I like having the relationships with them and driving them, and two, it's kind of one of the things that as an athletic department, we want to meet kids where they are and build them physically, socially, emotionally, and spiritually, and how not better to get back into the game. So we're all on board with that and looking forward to it.
You coached at, I know you coached at other schools.